there's something about this person, good or evil, right? Like there's something about this person, I can't put my finger on it. I've heard them say certain things. They know how to say the right words. They're great with their words. They're great orator. They know how to just break things down, but my spirit is not connecting with that. I don't know what it is. Listen, God is speaking to you because your spirit, the Spirit of God that is within you, will bear witness when the Spirit of God is with someone else. Now, there are times that people can just, out of ignorance, they don't know any better. They can say things, foolish things, but they do have the Spirit of God in them. You need to be able to discern that as well. There are times that I've heard speakers, I've heard preachers, and they're saying something that might be erroneous, but I'm like, you know what? It's just out of ignorance. They're not trying to mislead anybody. They just don't know any better yet. And they could learn, but that doesn't mean that they're false or that they're fake. So my prayer for you is I need you to sharpen your spirit so much in this season. You need to sharpen your spirit super sharp that you can discern as you're talking to people, because you're going to encounter people. I'm telling you, in this season of your life, you are going to encounter people that don't mean well for you. You are going to encounter people that don't care much about you. You are going to encounter people that will laugh and that will say all those things, and you think that, wow, they just want you to succeed, but behind their breath, they're praying like, I wish they fell. They'll never succeed. I am telling you, I'm speaking firsthand. I'm not just telling you something that I heard. I've had people in my life that I thought wanted the best for me. I've had people in my life that I've prayed with. I've shared deep things with. I've shared personal stuff with. And just to later on realize, man, I shouldn't have did that. That was a big, big mistake. The Spirit of God in you. The Spirit of God in you. I'm telling you, you need to sharpen your discerning. And a lot of times this can show up as an attempt to control others through prayers, pressuring decisions by claiming God told me. A lot of times, right? You have to be cautious. Let me say it again. You have to be cautious. Anytime that people come to you and say, God told me. When you are a believer and you're serving the Lord, there is nothing that someone else is going to come tell you that God hasn't already spoken to you about. They can come to confirm it, but it's not going to be something new. Now, if you're just getting started in the Lord and you just knew, then they can share some things with you. But as you begin to walk with God, when people come say, God told me this about you, God said this to me, God, I'm just like, okay, when people just, the moment they start to say these words, listen, God said this to me, or God told me this about you. You got to be like this. You got to have two ears. You need to have two sets of ears. Here's what happens. When people say, God told me, one of your ears, right? You have to listen and say, Holy Spirit, this person is telling me that you said this to them. I'm listening to you. Did you really say this? In one ear, you're listening to the Holy Spirit. In another ear, you are listening to what the person is saying. Do you know, just a fun fact, right? Just a fun fact. Do you know that if you really want to pay attention to what someone is saying, that you use your right ear? Right? If you've ever noticed, anytime that there's a loud noise and you're trying to hear something, right? You always do this, like you try to listen with the right ear. When people are saying, God said this to me, the Lord revealed this to me, I had a dream about this about you, all those things, you got it in the spirit realm. You got to do this. Holy Spirit, I know you can speak to me too. I'm listening to you. I can't just take everybody's word for it. And you got to listen to them. You got to stay connected. Because sometimes people will impose their personal agenda on you in the form of God said this. God said you got to do this. God said you got to give. And we'll say this a lot of times, even with the giving. Now, I'm not bashing giving. I do believe there are times when God will say that. But we have used it and abused it in a way that is ridiculous. Oh, God said you need to give $300. Or God said you need to give, a number that starts with, 333 or 777 or 25, whatever. Now, I'm not saying God can speak like that, but we have abused that so much. The next time anybody come up to you or send you a message, God said this, you need to say, Holy Spirit, I know that you speak to me. And that's why I tell believers, you got to sharpen your relationship with the Lord. You got to sharpen your relationship with the Lord, because you're going to deal with a lot of people coming and tell you things that are false, that is not from the throne of grace, that is not from God. But if you are not discerning in your spirit, you're going to be like what the book of James said. You're going to be tossed left and right. And the Bible said that a double-minded man or woman, you will become unstable. When you become unstable, you believe anything. You're like back and forth. But I believe that today, the Holy Spirit wants to personally visit you.